Welcome back to another edition of the Edgoose Wakeford Sportscast. I am one of your hosts, Danny Edgoose, and joining me yet again is my brilliant co-host.
Ben Wakeford back again from the home studio.
Obviously, doing things a bit differently, continuing after last week's episode, where we're stuck inside and having to do it over Zoom. It's a bit different to the studio we were used to in previous episodes, but you know, sometimes you've got to make do.
Got to do what you got to do.
Got to do what you got to do. And we did make a really good mock draft episode.
Yeah, we did.
It's probably close to a month ago now.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of an early take on it, but you know, I think a lot of those picks are basically still the same as they are now. So we'll do another one today. We'll both give our justification for why we think certain players will go where they land. Yeah. I mean, the draft is only a couple of weeks away, which is very exciting. I know it's a big part of the calendar for you.
For me, it is every year, but especially this year now there's no sports going on at all. I think it's good. It's a good distraction from what's going on in the world, and it's to get behind. So it's really exciting.
Absolutely. So we won't keep people waiting any longer. Should we get right into it?
Yeah, I think we're just going to do top 10 today, and then we'll
top 10.
Split the rest of the picks into separate videos, so it's not pretty much.
So it's not too overwhelming.
Yeah, too overwhelming.
So we'll start off with the number one pick. And obviously the Cincinnati Bengals hold this pick. There's a chance they could trade it away. It's unlikely, but as per usual in any mock draft, we won't include trades in this. So take it away. Who do you think Cincinnati's go with number one?
Well, I think the consensus around the league is you're going with Joe Burrow. He's from Ohio. He's quarterback from LSU. Let's just say that to start with. He's from Ohio. Natural leader, big and strong. You know, he's tall, can hold up in that cold weather division. In terms of his college attributes and his season success, his first few years at Ohio State didn't get the kind of opportunities he wanted, so he transferred to LSU. His first year at LSU was bang average, really, but then, you know, second year is greatest ever QB season in NCAA history with passing touchdowns and totaling more than 6,000 yards of offense for LSU. So, you know, the Bengals desperately need someone to kickstart their franchise, really, after Andy Dalton hasn't done what they expected.
Yeah, things have gone a bit stale, haven't they, in for that team and that division, especially when they're in a division with the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the improving Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, definitely.
They really need that sort of catalyst for change, and it looks like Joe Burrow could be that guy. Beat Clemson in the national championships, threw for 60 touchdown passes en route to the Heisman. I mean, 60. Yeah. What a number that is. Incredible, man. With, you know, he had good receivers around him for the college game.
Very good.
There's no secret about that, but still, 60 touchdown passes is almost unprecedented. There is concerns that, you know, we mentioned he had a good offense at LSU. Is he a one-season wonder? One and done?
Could be.
He could be. I mean, like you mentioned, he moved colleges.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't find success at his previous one. And we've seen college players who have had one good season at the collegiate level, you know, be massive, massive busts. But at the same time, they could also be massive, massive successes.
Yeah.
I think Joe Burrow going number one really could have a massive bust potential surrounding it. But, you know, he's going to go number one because Cincinnati needs a quarterback, and Joe Burrow is generally the consensus number one pick.
That's your pick then as well.
Absolutely. Number one, Joe Burrow to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, so solid.
Now, number two is the Washington Redskins. And this is something we've had a different opinion about.
Yeah, and my opinion's changed since our last mock draft as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if you go with the same as me. I think you take the best generational pass rusher that I've seen since I've probably watched the NFL. Yeah. And that's Chase Young, number two from Ohio State. He, to me, is the best prospect in the draft. 10 pressures and 4 quarterback hits in the Fiesta Bowl against Clemson. And Clemson, you know, top quality collegiate program. He is the best pass rusher out of the draft since the Bosa brothers, and he'll dominate straight away for a team with a new head coach and a young quarterback. They need help everywhere on that team, and I think Chase Young is going to be a centerpiece for that defense. For the next 10, 15 years, 16.5 sacks this past season. Number 2, Chase Young. Let's do it. Let's do it, Washington. The nation's capital needs that pass rush.
Yeah, I think you've pretty much nailed it there. That's what I was going to go with as well. Change to Chase Young. Drafting Tua there is a bit too high, especially with his injury history. I've put down he's the best non-QB available, so pretty best player in the draft. Could be better than Nick Bosa coming out of the same college, Ohio State, last year. And he's also got all-pro talent, so that's it's a guy you can't really miss on at number 2 overall. So we'll see if the Redskins do the right thing and do that.
Absolutely.
Moving on to number 3, it's Detroit Lions. In real life, I can see the Dolphins trading up to this spot, number 3, to take a quarterback. But for the sake of this mock, because there's no trades, I've got them taking Jeff Okudah, cornerback from Ohio State. I've put down that he's the best cornerback available, and they also need someone to replace Darius Slay, who they just traded. So I've got them taking Jeff Okudah.
Yeah, I think it's probably 60% likely that they'll trade down.
Yeah.
I don't think they really... The Lions have so many holes, they need more than one player to fix them. And I do agree. I think in this situation, if they were to pick a player, it's Jeff Okudah, a real generational cornerback. He's really clean, a really clean cornerback prospect. And we haven't really seen somebody this ready for the NFL, probably since Jalen Ramsey. He's got the technique of a future All-Pro, to be honest. I mean, 6'1", long and rangy, real top prospect. And I think, it's a start, especially considering Darius Slay is leaving or has left.
Has left, yeah.
Has left. I was convinced he was, because he made a lot of noise on social media about leaving.
All that noise.
And, yeah, I think Jeff Okudah is a perfect replacement and somebody who's going to, cover top receivers for the best part of a decade.
Is that who your number 3 would be?
Now, Jeff Okudah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you.
Okay, good.
And number 4 is the New York footballing Giants, the Big Blue.
Yeah, the Big Blue, classic.
And there's 2 options I think they go with here. I think they either go with a wide receiver to help Daniel Jones, or they go with offensive line.
Oh, wide receiver, number 4. Jeez.
They got to protect that investment.
Yeah.
I think, and to be honest, it's tricky because there's a lot of top offensive line talent in this draft, and a lot of them can make a case for going first in that area. But I think, probably looking at it, I'm going to go number 4 to the New York Giants, Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle, Iowa. He's the 97th percentile or better in the 40-yard dash, so he's a pure athlete. Vertical jump and broad jump was top amongst offensive tackle prospects, or close to the top. Pure athlete, like I mentioned, really, really was a focal point of that Iowa offense. And like I mentioned, you've got to protect that investment that they made towards Daniel Jones, drafting him so high last year when he's relatively unproven coming out of Duke. A weak offensive line. Nate Solder hasn't worked out well for the Giants after the big money acquisition from New England. So an offensive tackle is probably the right way to go here.
Yeah, I think that's probably a wise choice, but I've gone different. I've gone taking one of the best players in the draft, in my opinion, Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker / defensive back hybrid from Clemson. He's that modern kind of NFL player. He's quick, he's rangy, he can get either side of the field. He's played DB, he's played linebacker, and I think he's got Pro Bowl talent. So I think New York also need help on the defense as well as offensive line, and the offensive line class is quite deep, so maybe you could pick one up in the second round. So that's kind of my thinking, but I like your pick as well.
I agree. I think Isaiah Simmons would be a really good pick.
Yeah.
But
pick 5?
I have a difference of opinion on where.
Yeah, mate, that's fine. That's fine. I think I know where you're going to say he's going. So number 5 is Miami's first pick out of 3 in the first round. I've got them taking Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback from Alabama. But if not for injuries, I think Tua would probably be the number 1 guy on everyone's board and off the board straight away. I think he's a no-brainer. He's a bit short, but he's like deadly accurate. Fit right in Miami, that nice hot weather, and learn behind Ryan Fitzpatrick before he gets fully fit and maybe play a role in the end of the season.
Yeah, I have the same here. Tua Tagovailoa, I think he'd be a great fit for Miami. Anywhere else, I don't think he would really succeed very well. It just seems right for him to go to Miami. He's a warm weather kid, and he will love South Beach. Realistically, he is the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
You mentioned, injuries are a concern, but at the moment, he's been given the all clear. He's a small frame, so he could get beaten up quite easily, and so it's important the Dolphins invest in an offensive line for him.
Yeah.
He's agile. He's not Kyler Murray agile, so he could be a target for defensive linemen. But I think if Kyler Murray can be a success in the league, or as we think he has been so far, Tua Tagovailoa will be perfectly fine.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Especially
in a AFC East, which doesn't boast the greatest defenses.
Not at all, apart from Patriots.
That's a topic for another.
Yeah, it's another discussion, that is.
As I rank the Bills' defense better.
Oh, okay, yeah, they're pretty good as well.
So number 6, the LA Chargers are not the San Diego Chargers.
No.
As we have made countless mistakes in the past.
We're so bad at that, aren't we?
Well, they've got to take them back to San Diego soon, surely. Right, we'll get number 6, LA Chargers. I'm going to go with another quarterback. I think you knew that one was coming. Big Justin Herbert. I've got him ranked number 14th in my total sort of talent list coming out of this draft.
Yeah.
An absolutely cannon arm. And if he unleashes it more, it could be a lethal weapon down on that sunny West Coast. His steady decision-making will help him in this league, and he will have a really good receiving core as well, with players like Keenan Allen. He can often aim his throws, and that's something which was highlighted at the combine, in which he did have a good combine.
Yeah.
And he's got really great size at 6'6". Franchise quarterback, fundamentals and a prototype. I think he'll be a success in the league, and I think the Chargers will be a really good fit for him.
Yeah, I've got the same here. I've got Justin. He's one of my favourite college players ever, really. I've been a fan of his since his sophomore year at Oregon. I thought he might come out last year, but, he chose to stay, and he had a better year than he did in his junior year. You said he's tall, big arm. He also had a very good senior bowl, which, he was the MVP of the game, and he played out of his skin. Ton of upside as well, and he's got the size, and the Chargers get a replacement for Phillip Rivers, and hopefully a guy they can have for 15 years.
Absolutely. I mean, if it's not Phillip Rivers, it's probably going to be Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
And if you don't, if it's not Herbert, sorry, if it's
not Herbert.
Not Herbert. If it's not Herbert, it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. Likely, they've already said they don't want to sign Cam Newton.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a really good fit for Justin Herbert.
Definitely. Number 7, your Carolina Panthers. I would have had Isaiah Simmons here, but I've gone and taken Derek Brown, defensive tackle from Auburn. There's a lot of upside about him. He's one of the most talented players in the whole draft. He's incredible in run stopping, but the one downside I have about him is he needs to work on his pass rushing ability. There's lots of times where he gets stuck on offensive line blocks. He just needs to work that out, and he'll be a fantastic player. So
there's a lot of talk about Carolina picking a defensive tackle, but in this situation, if he was available, I can't see how the Carolina Panthers pass on Isaiah Simmons, the player you had going number 3 to Detroit. Number 4, sorry, to the New York Giants. Yeah, free safety, strong safety, and linebacker. I mean, coming out of Clemson, he was a real focal point of that defense. Reminds me a lot of Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
4.39, 40-yard dash. A real utility weapon that can play in the box and play on the edge. Great addition for any team. And I think at number 7, if Carolina can pick up a player like Isaiah Simmons, it's the perfect replacement for Luke Kuechly, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Although that is nearly impossible to replace. He will definitely help.
Yeah. I mean, as you can say, he can play in the box. He can do whatever, really. Whatever you need him to do in cover. So I don't see him falling that far, but that's just me. You obviously want to see that happen badly.
Oh, I'd love that to happen, but it depends if the Lions trade. It really
Yeah,
does.
true.
If the Lions
Yeah.
trade, that could really be realistic.
Even if they trade down to like 5.
Yeah. So
So,
number 8 is the Arizona Cardinals.
yeah.
Obviously, second-year head coach in Cliff Kingsbury and second-year quarterback in Kyler Murray. I think, again, like what I picked with the Giants, they help protect
Sector
that investment.
investment. Yeah, baby.
With another offensive tackle, not a glorious pick, but
No.
it's nonetheless it's needed. I think they go Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle out of Alabama.
Yeah, I've got the same pick as well.
He has incredible power in both his run and pass blocking. You know, he could really make a case for going number 4 to the Giants, in my opinion. It was really a toss-up between him and Wirfs.
Yeah.
He tested out in the 89th percentile or better among offensive tackles in the 40-yard dash, vertical and broad jump. And I think that reason alone could really separate him from other offensive tackles on teams' boards. I think there's a chance he could go very high or possibly drop because there's such a depthful position.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. I've got the exact same pick and for the exact same reasons. So I reckon we move on now to pick number 9. The Jacksonville Jaguars have got obvious needs. They've got 2 picks in the first round. And I've got them taking with the first pick, CJ Henderson, cornerback from Florida. But after Kuda and Henderson, there's a big drop off in talent of the cornerback pool in this NFL draft. So I think taking Henderson here is a big need after losing Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boye.
Yeah, I think, look, CJ Henderson's a good prospect. I have him going generally a lot lower. He's 17th in my sort of overall prospect rankings and the number 2 quarterback in the draft. And that is unfortunate because he is a really good quarterback and it's just a shame you have Jeff Okudah in there who's going to go much higher than him. Otherwise, he could make a case for being the top cornerback prospect taken. I have them taking Derek Brown from Auburn. They lost Calais Campbell in the offseason and he was a real staple of that defensive line. He's the top interior lineman prospect. Big, eats up blocks relatively easily. Reminds me of Chris Jones with an explosive first step. But there are issues there with, as you mentioned earlier, in sort of technique. He is quite a raw prospect, I think. I don't think he'll be an all-pro in the first couple of years in the league, but when he gets used to the game and the NFL level, I think he'll be a force to be reckoned with in the north of Florida.
Yeah, I like that pick. Very nice.
So the last pick for this episode, number 10, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Once again, I hate to say it, it's not going to get fans off the seats, but it has to be done. I think they go with offensive tackle.
Yeah.
They signed Jack Conklin, probably overpaid for him realistically, but they saw a need and addressed it.
Yeah, definitely.
They need somebody on the other side of that line to give Baker Mayfield time because he had absolutely zero time and there was so much pressure on him last season. He was just running around. He's not running around all game and he's not the most athletic quarterback. So he needs support up front. I think they go with Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle out of Georgia. He's a technician on the offensive line. He has the consistency necessary to be a franchise pass protector. Very polished prospect who can be very effective from day one, playing opposite from Conklin. He protected Jake Fromm, who, let's be honest, isn't the greatest quarterback, but you know he's going to get drafted largely because of Andrew Thomas.
Yeah.
So Andrew Thomas will be a massive addition for the Cleveland Browns if they were to select him number 10.
Yeah, I've got Cleveland going the same direction, taking an offensive lineman, but I've got them taking Tristan Wirfs, who went a lot higher in your draft. I said he's the best lineman in the draft, even though he's not the first lineman off my board. But anyway, his athletic ability is off the charts after after blowing up the combine. And, I think if they get someone to go opposite to Jack Conklin, that's just shored up their offensive line like 100 times more than it was last season. So that just puts Baker in such a good stead for next season. And also, as long as he's got time, think about the amount of weapons he has on that offense. They're going to be a real offense to kind of look out for.
Well, they added Austin Hooper as well.
Yeah.
tie into an already stacked offense. And if you think how good Nick Chubb has been,
Hmm.
think about how good he's going to be with us with a solid
Those-
offensive line.
Yeah, with those two big boys at tackle. Jeez.
Absolutely.
It's scary to think, mate.
It's scary to think.
Guys agree or disagree with any of our picks, then just, hit us up in the comments, just say, oh, you're terrible, you're so wrong. or give us some nice stuff. Just give us some blessed. Say we're really good. Say we could be NFL GM. Say that.
Well, here we are in our draft war rooms,
Yeah.
our draft boards. These are difficult decisions because there are so many. This is a really good draft class.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Really good draft class.
Especially for quarterbacks, I think the amount of quarterback talent there is in the. I've said that the past 2 years. I think the amount of quarterback talent that's in coming off the charts is unreal.
And remember, Lamar Jackson was drafted with the last pick of the first round. So any of these guys could be, top talents.
Jordan Love, we haven't spoken about him yet, but he's certainly one on.
I'm sure he will pop up eventually.
He will, definitely.
So that's been picks 1 to 10. Today we'll continue this sort of series with the next 10 or 12 picks. Next time we upload. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember to leave any comments or feedback or what you would do in certain situations as a GM in the comments. This has been another episode of the Ed Goose Wakeford Sportscast. I've been Daniel Ed Goose. Joining me has been
Ben Wakeford, as always.
And until next time, stay safe, stay inside. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.
Stay safe, everyone.